Welcome to my space of worship. Here we are in the Sturdivant basement, and this is where my family and I gather each week to celebrate worship together. Most of you know that we don't actually do a live stream on Sunday morning, but we record the worship service earlier, usually on Saturday morning, and then upload it to YouTube Premiere so that we can all have the same worship experience at the same time, including the Sturdivant family, which is a kind of a special circumstance. We usually don't get to sit and be in worship together, but we have that opportunity in these days. And so this is where this happens. Here's the TV that we watch it on YouTube, and here's the Christ candle that we light, and there's where everybody sits. There's Kimberly's Bible there, and everybody's chairs. We clear off the remote controls, and that's where we set communion so that we can kind of be together. This is the chair that I usually sit in. I put my laptop on my lap, and that way I can chat with you all while we all watch together on the television screen as a family. And indeed, this is a week for worship. At 10:45, we'll gather together around the chat line and around the worship experience. And it is a Sunday for communion. We have the opportunity to gather again in community virtually. Again, the communion is a powerful symbol, a reminder that we are never alone. That the communion meal reminds us that throughout the centuries, Christians have found ways to reconnect through this meal, a way of reminding ourselves that Christ is present with us and that Christ's disciples gather in all times and all places. And so you're invited to bring your communion elements, whether it be some bread that you have in the pantry, or you'd like to make a loaf. Remember that the Gillettes have made some videos for us. Brandon has made a recipe for bread, and Joanna has made a recipe for some gluten-free wafers. And so whatever you'd like to do for your bread, you can use that as a way to kind of share a recipe as we share this meal together virtually. And so whatever your elements look like, bring some bread, bring something to drink, a cup to share with your household, and with your church as we share communion together. And so the Sturdivants will set it there on the table, and that will be our kind of center for communion at a time during the service when we gather together. So plan to do that this coming Sunday. Other things to remember. We begin a new worship series, Unanxious Heroes for Uncertain Times, kind of a reminder of some of the folks in the Bible who also dealt with just kind of odd and crazy and chaotic times, and how they were faithful to God in those days. And so we'll talk about that these next several weeks. Tonight is a special opportunity. Caleb Robbins leads us as the Earthworks Purple team in a Zoom conversation about a book called Active Hope, talking about climate change, but just change in the world around us. And so how do we be active in our hope? Kind of talking about some systemic and some intellectual and even some spiritual ways to look at some of these issues. And then, of course, also this evening, the governor is due to start explaining what Kansas will look like as we start to come out of our shelter-in-place order. We don't know exactly what this will look like for Douglas County. We expect some more direction from the county health administrators. I think we don't know exactly what it'll look like for First Baptist. Of course, we're meeting. We're also already thinking about that, praying about that. The worship team is going to start asking those kind of questions together in the next couple days as we begin to hear. But do know that we're going to take our time. We're going to be thoughtful. We're going to try to keep people safe, and we're going to be thoughtful about how we come out of this together. And that's a big word there, together. We really want to do this in a way that respects one another's needs and finds ways to connect to each other. And so just like that communion reminder that we are not alone, I hope you know that you are not alone. If there's anything you need, please contact me, contact the staff, contact folks on the SLT, and we want to help make sure that you are not kind of suffering as you shelter in place. And if there's ways that we can be helpful, let us know. So in these days, be well, be safe, be healthy. Go take a walk in this beautiful spring weather, and let's gather together for communion on Sunday. Grace and peace to you.